back to another episode of the Stitch Method, which should be a really fun episode. We are discussing an In the Mind of Jerry Garcia for a super colorful, bright, awesome song that you probably know called Scarlet Begonias. Now, there is a lot to do, and what I want to try and do for you is give you a way to solo no matter where you are on the instrument. We can layer the ideas from like the simple method to more complex. I really don't know how long this video is going to go. I don't know how well I'm going to execute all the ideas, but I'm going to give it a try. All right, so let's start out with the obvious stuff. All right, so the three chords in this jam, or we're just actually talking about the solo section. We're not going to be talking about the transition into Fire in the Mountain, but the solo itself is beautiful. The only three chords that are involved in it are E, A, and B. I'll show you the chord progression. You can write it down. But right off the bat, it's like, ba-ba, like, okay, we're in the key of E. It's the 1, 4, and 5 of E. And anytime you have a 1, 4, and 5, it's going to sound happy. It's locking yourself into the key. You're pretty much like, okay, well, we can use the E major scale for this. So the chord progression really quickly, if you probably want to write this down and you want to find some backing tracks, which I'm sure are out there. And so it's going to start with E to the B. Then E to the B, then A, E, B, A, E, A, E, B, A, E, and then B. And it stops there and it repeats. Now, what's really cool about this song is, Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead and Bob Weir have a way of writing these progressions where like a 1 to a 5 could sound like the 5 to a 1, and it creates this really cool like movement in music, and it's really fun. And this song captures a lot of fun energy, and what Jerry Garcia does on this solo is nothing but fun, and you can watch hundreds of different versions and hear hundreds of different takes on this, and just the amount of variety that he has as a lead guitar player, and the liberty he takes to change a solo one night from one way to another is just a tribute to Jerry and how much fun he had and how much fun you can have with it. So let's just start at the very basics. I'm going to do pretty much everything right now in between the 9th and 10th fret in the form 1. I will expand out as the video goes, and I will have a chart that explains all this stuff. I don't know how big the chart will be, but it'll be there. All right, so we're in the key of E. So right now, what that means is we can use the E major scale. Sweet. So on this 9th fret, we can find the E major scale. We're going to start on the 9th fret here. Now, this is the C sharp, but I'm playing in a box here. And what it is, it's going to be the form 1, and it's going to be 9, 11, 12, 9, 11, 12, 9, 11, 8, 9, 11, 9, 10, 12, 9, 11, 12. All your conspiracy theorists are going to timestamp this video. I know it. But the notes we have here are C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, and B, and C sharp, and D sharp, and E. Okay, so there is. So those are all the notes in the scale. And I'm just going to play the backing track, and just right off the bat, all you need to do, like simple level, right, we're going to build this out, is just to play an E major scale over the whole thing. Here we go. I just noticed that my shot's a little low, so give me 1 second. I'm going to change the shot so you can see my right hand as well. All right, we're back. You can see my right hand a little bit better, okay? And I'm just going to do it one more time. And all I'm doing here is playing the E major scale, and I'm kind of following those chord changes. I'm kind of trying to match my rhythm to a little bit of those chord changes, and the phrasing kind of is built in when you're really like focusing on that progression. So you really want to know that progression. Here it is one more time in the E major. you can see, like, there it is, right? I mean, just E major scale. But and again, like, you could be on stage all night and play that, and people are going to love it. It's just that, you know, the way the 1, 4, and 5, the E, A, and B grab that E major scale, it's going to sound perfect. And the chord progression itself is super colorful, and it helps kind of propel that scale into this beautiful sounding thing, because the chord changes are so fast that it actually like makes that scale shine. And we can talk about that in another video, but let's keep on going. So one thing we can start to do that Jerry Garcia definitely does in other in other mentalities, we're going to start layering the concepts. Well, if we do it right here, definitely he's going to start punching his chord tones on those chord changes, and this is where knowing that chord progression really is important. So the 3 chords involved are the E chord, which will be right here in the G-shaped E chord, the A chord, which is the C-shaped A chord here, and the B chord, which is the D-shaped, and you can play it like this if you want to. Okay, the D-shaped B chord here. So you have E, A, and B. Now, just to bore you for about 35 seconds, I'm going to play the chord progression with just these chord shapes here, which is something you want to do, because you need to start visualizing these things. So here we go. Sorry about that. I had a looper malfunction, but I think we're okay right now. Let's just try it one more time. Let's see what happens. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to follow those chords with the E's, A's, and B's. And even though my backing track might go fast, take your time. Write that chord progression out. Rewind it to where I showed you. And try and play this along and see those chord changes. Now, it's fast. I mean, those chord changes are fast. So you're going to have to try and really visualize this. If this takes you 2 or 3 days to master, it takes you 2 or 3 days to master. Don't worry about it. Here we go. E, B, E, B, A, E, B, A, E, A, E, B, A, E, and B. Okay. Now you gotta trust me when I say this. This is the next level, and it's like, whoa, there's a lot going on here. Yeah, those chord changes happen fast. And so I will tell you, in taking a week or two just to perfect that, it's well worth it. And what the effect is that you're going to get is that you're going to play in the E major scale that we just did, the full E major scale in the same place, but now we have those chord tones lined up. Now we really have those things, in place right on top of the scale, which is important. And so we're going to try to see those chords as we're playing the scale. And if we can see those chords, maybe stopping and saying hello and shaking hands with one of the chord tones just might work out in your benefit. Now, the chord progression changes so fast that I'm not going to shout out what I'm doing, but I want you to listen. Trust me that I'm trying to play the E major scale, and I'm going to shake hands with a chord tone or two of the chord that is happening. Here we go. Lost in all that and just kind of staring up in space. All right, so it's like, whew, there's a lot to do there. It is. The chord progression's great. It moves fast. The E major scale is your netting, okay? Like the level 1, that's the net you're going to cast. You'll catch everything no matter what, as long as you practice your phrasing, kind of jam along with the song. The second part that you want to do is you want to try and incorporate those chord tones, and that's where they are. Now, again, I'm sorry, I know this video I'm talking fast, I had a cup of coffee, and I feel like my chair is sinking, so I'm just going to readjust my chair in the shot and get my right hand back in the picture. This is fun, ain't it? Okay, my eyes are almost off camera, and you just watch, and as my chair probably starts sinking. It'll be a fun game, but you can see my right hand here. All right, so now let's just talk about one other thing that Jerry, actually one more thing. the embellishments on the chords. Okay, so we have those chord tones, but there's, if you see my Althea video, if you see my Franklin's Tower video, Jerry has a lot of Jerry-isms that he plays, and it's such a signature sound. And so one of the things you really want to focus on is bringing in the major and minor third type thing. At least let's talk about that B chord. Okay, so the E comes in, E, and then to the B. And one thing he loves to do, there's the B, here's the major third, and he'll drag to the minor third and do that whole thing, right? And so we get this B, E, B. And so you hear that all the time on the beat. On the A, you can do the same exact thing, okay? On the A, here's the A chord, one major third, minor third. You don't want to do them back to back. You don't want to be going like. It kind of develops a theme where you go, okay, yeah, I can hear what you're doing. So you want to spice it up. But here, just do it. I'm just going to do it one more time, but listen for that minor third to major third on the B, or a major third to minor third on the A. I'm going to use them sparingly. Here we go. E major scale. I'm going to try and punch some chord tones. When I'm on the B in the jam, hit a major minor third type mix thing, and then also on the A if I feel like it. Let's see. Of it in there, and Jerry wouldn't do it all the time. I just kept on doing it just to show you the sound. So let's recap. We have the E major scale, great. E major plus chord tones is great. E major plus chord tones plus on the B hit the main major and minor third mix, and also on the A sparingly. Now, what you want to try doing, and one of the last things, there's a lot to do here, there's a lot to do, and we're already at a huge video, is on that final B. This is the cool thing. On the final B that he does, there's two things you can do on this final B, which Jerry intertwines all the time. Number one, and he does this a lot. This is the 5 chord, all right? And when the 5 chord presents itself in any song that Jerry co-wrote or wrote, he, 95% chance he's going to play the pentatonic, the major pentatonic of this chord. And so when the B happens, boom, you can play, if you look at my major never lost pentatonic, you can play a B major pentatonic. You can get that whole thing in there. That's on my major never lost. And so watch for that last B and listen to how I might start it like on this B here. I might start it here because I don't see myself getting down this far on the solo. But you'll hear him. Like kind of like build that tension with that major pentatonic. And again, every show was different. Every second of the song was different to him. So these are just all little observations from all of his performances of Scarlet Begonia and how much fun you can have with this. So here we go. Listen for that run. Like. Time I kind of climb it chromatically, but you can hear in that last part, B major pentatonic works great. I'll do it one more time just so you can hear the effect, because we're going to talk about something else he does on that chord. So here we go. Let's see. So you heard it right there. So that we're going to call the B build, right? On that 5 chord, he builds up. Another thing that you can do in that B is you don't need to play the B major pentatonic. You can just do this like Jerry, and you know what I'm talking about when I'm saying this Jerry Garcia like motif build just of the key scale of the E major scale, which is all the notes we talked about in the very beginning. This whole like, you might want to start on the B, you know, but you'll hear him like, and get to that E where it starts again. All I did right there is play that major pentatonic, sorry, that major scale of E, and just kind of fool around until I felt it come back. And so let's see what that sounds like. I have to go through the whole thing, unfortunately. Not really, I love it. There was more of a motif build where I was just kind of doing some patterns. Jeez. Really in? Until you get to the very moment. There's a lot going on here, I know, but let's just take a breath and recap everything. The E major scale is going to save the day. The E major scale, focusing on your chord tones, is going to help improve the funness of this song. The major minor third of the B, even on the E or the A, you can have fun with it as long as you know where the major thirds are. You know, when you have an E chord, your major third is here. You can totally do it on the A chord, on the B chord. Now, you don't have to blend these in all the time, but they're there for your taking. Another thing I do, by the way, is anytime I hit an A chord, I want to explain this to you before we keep going, is, you know, that's a root here, and my major third is where my middle finger is, and you can, and Jerry does this a lot, where that was the minor third thing there, just right at the scale, minor third, major third, and you'll hear it. And blending minor thirds and major thirds, punching chord tones, and then at the end, on that B, you can play the B major pentatonic and build it up there, or you could play the E major scale with some kind of repeating patterns and get some motifs. Now, we've talked about a lot of stuff here, right? I mean, like, come on, man. The last thing I'll tell you that you can do is on the chart. I know, like, I want to keep it kind of like simple, as complex as it sounds, and I can keep on going, but I feel like we have enough like ammo, and we can talk about this stuff on my live feed Thursday. All right, Thursday, 7:30 p.m. 2 days after this video comes out, we can talk about this. And one thing that you can try and do is bring it up here into the form 4, up here where the, like, excuse me. And the chart will have that, but I'm going to show you something really quickly that Jerry always does. If I'm in this form 1, like pentatonic or diatonic scale, and I want to bring it up octaves higher, there, right there, and I'll show you in the chart where everything is here, you're going to hear him playing E chord, and I've talked about this before in many of my videos. You get a little piece in E chord, boom, 12, 12, 13, You can borrow the 14-14 on B and G, get up to the 16-16, and that's a piece of an E chord. That's a little tiny piece of an E chord here. And that helps you throw into the other space. And so let's just, I'm going to end it, but let's see how you can do this and kind of get to here, and the chart will explain how to get up to here, or all the moves up here, but I'm going to discuss everything here in the video, like I said. So let's see if we can do one last performance. Everything included. Here we go. So I hope that all kind of made sense. I just brought it up here, and then at the end of the B, I just took an E major scale back down to the starting position. Listen, there is so much more to do, but we're going to be at a half-hour video, and why am I going to sit here and inundate you with like all this stuff where we can start having a ton of fun with these basic ingredients. See? I was just saying how long the video was, and my camera stopped. So it's a pretty innocent sounding song, but it's a huge solo to undertake. So take your time with this. The chart will be there if you need it. I'm going to start working on it right now. It will discuss all the concepts that we talked about in 2 different places. And so have fun with this. I hope you enjoyed it. This is a great song to solo on and an easier song to play. And so if you're in a band, get on it and send me a video, because I'd love to see how you solo on top of this. See you Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard for any questions and follow-ups and a live discussion on my YouTube channel. All right.